Welcome to the July 17th edition of Colorado Inside Post Game, a special web exclusive production here on Channel 12. Let's get a quick take on the 6 new members of the Denver City Council to be sworn in on Monday, and Mayor Hancock, who will begin his second term with many new faces in administration, including a beefed up human services leadership team. Patty Calhoun from Westward. A lot of things to pick from here. We have a CIO alumni, Kevin Flynn, taking his seat from District 2. Mayor Hancock with a lot of new faces, especially in human services. Take your pick.
Well, let's start with Kevin Flynn, because I think he will be a great addition to Denver City Council. He covered City Hall for a very long time. He's since worked for RTD, so he's used to working through the political bureaucracy, but he's a smart guy who knows what kind of questions to ask. So I think he will be a good replacement for some of the independent voices we're losing on City Council. We can see the changes that are already being made at the start of the second Hancock administration. He's moved Penny May, who is definitely the MVP of the Hancock administration. She's done excise and licenses. She went over to human services. Now she's going in to the mayor's office. They had better treat her right and listen to her, because she can fix just about everything. We'll see if she can fix the mayor's office. Human services, we've seen they're already bulking up that division. We've moved Don Maris over there. So there are other things that are being done, but they've got a lot of work to do. We've just read about another study being done with the 23-year-old toddler who was just found dead. What went wrong? So human services and the sheriff's department will be flashpoints in the new administration. And then there's the little issue of development around Denver, which people are getting a little tired of.
That's very true. David Copeland from the Independence Institute and DU Law School. I don't want to say Mayor Hancock got a pass, but there's a lot of issues he's had to, or needs to handle in the city of Denver, that if he had a stronger opponent during his re-election campaign, he'd be in a tougher place right now. Does he have the right new faces in the right places now to tackle these pretty substantial issues?
Well, and of course the root cause you address is that neither Patty nor Penfield took up the opportunity to run against him and at least challenge him to be more articulate about what he would do in a second term. Hiring Don Maris was a great idea. Not only experienced state senator, but led a mental health organization for many years, so a very good choice for human services. What it would be ideal if the mayor addressed, and really the new city council is nice, but to some degree they're eye candy. We have a strong mayor system, unfortunately, which means so much of the bureaucracy is really insulated from the public. From Bill McNichols to the present, lots of different people have come and gone, but we've had 2 consistent problems that nobody solved. One is the police community relations issue, and that's both the police department and the sheriff's department. And secondly is, for all the degree to which Denver has been a sanctuary city for corporate welfare, it has been a tough city to start a small business. If you're not sophisticated, you can't hire a lawyer, but you just want to open some kind of business of you and your sweat equity and some members of your family, the permitting process for that, how long it takes, is much too long. And if we could fix that, that would solve unemployment problems. It would get unemployed teenagers into productive work where they're making money. Honestly, there's so much that could be done there, and so little, despite all the rhetoric for 30 and 40 years, has been done to fix that problem.
Penfield Tate, attorney at Greenberg Traurig, also a longtime state lawmaker. What do you think of the new faces both in the council and Mayor Hancock's administration? And is it built to tackle these substantial problems that we're facing in the years to come?
You know, I think it's going to be an interesting time. And the way I look at it is, starting with the question you posed to David, I think the mayor did get a pass in the last election. He wasn't really pushed. And that's unfortunate for all of us in the city, because there were really some issues that needed to be elevated to a citywide conversation. And instead, we saw them play out at city council races around the city. And so that's why people are focusing on the new city council. With respect to the new city council, we've got a couple of new voices there that are going to be interesting. Kevin Flynn is certainly one of them as a reporter who's covered City Hall for so long. more than most of the people on city council or even in this administration who were probably in high school when Kevin was covering City Hall, he knows where a lot of the bodies are buried, and he knows more of the history of some things than many of the people who are serving in government now. He'll have the ability to surface some issues so that we can have a broader conversation. Well, we've talked about all of this, but who we've overlooked is the city auditor. In Tim O'Brien, you get a new personality, someone with a very different perspective and background, someone who was the state auditor who focused on performance auditing, that is, questioning, challenging, and looking at how systems and programs work within government. I'm sure Tim's going to push that agenda because he's doing a pretty clean sweep of the auditor's office. At the end of the day, I sort of agree with David's point. The issue the city has, and I think the point we've missed, and I would say since the Pena administration to current date, is the real health and vitality of a city is based on its human infrastructure. And when you look at police community relations, when you look at the problems in human services, when you even look at some of the consternation over development, it's because I believe we haven't focused on our people. What do the people in this community need? Because frankly, if you don't have that sort of cohesion among the citizens, you don't really have a livable place. You can have nice parks, you can have pretty buildings, and you can have a bustling economy, but it doesn't do you any good if you're displacing all of the people because they have no place to live because they can't afford it, if they're running away from the schools. So that's the challenge of this administration, and I don't know if city council is going to be enough of a sort of a force of opposition to bring about real conversation about the issues that matter, and that is how this community, how this city impacts our citizens, the people.
Ben Gelt, public affairs consultant, and I'd say one of our experts when it comes to civic issues. You were part of many of the campaigns for city council. You have a strong familial background when it comes to city politics. What's your take on the new start starting next week?
Well, in spite of the 7 actually new members, because we had one incumbent lose, sure. I don't think we're going to see substantial change from the council itself because, as David pointed out, and I think as we all know, we have a very mayoral form of government. I mean, it's the mayor's world, and we're all just living in it. So, I think that there are maybe 2 or 3 oppositional voices on the council. It remains to be seen how sophisticated they are in understanding how limited they are in terms of power, but what they have with a bully pulpit and their ability to be a thorn in the side of the mayor. When you look at development, which is, I think, the issue that drove a lot of those contentious council races, certainly it's a problem. Building on what Penn was talking about with social infrastructure, Denver also is badly in need of physical and actual infrastructure upgrades if we're going to continue to have all of these new people moving here, particularly people in the millennial set who are moving here with this belief that Denver is an attainable place to live, that they can afford to be here, that they can get out of their cars, that they can be outside, that they can have this work-life balance. My concern is, looking at my peers, is that belief is going to evaporate and we're going to lose this opportunity that we have now. Unless we start to have discussions about how to calm traffic, not reduce traffic, not get rid of traffic jams, but calm it, slow it down, create bigger sidewalks, do things to actually put people on the street. These are physical changes that the city can make that can help build that social cohesion that Penn was talking about. So I don't personally really anticipate any substantive changes. I think that the mayor has clearly signaled what his priorities are. We're going to see 2 important ballot initiatives on the ballot in the fall. The Western Center, the National Western Center, we're going to have a huge tax proposal there, and also around Airport City out at the airport. So I don't anticipate a lot of change. I wish the new council the best of luck. I do agree with everyone that Kevin is going to bring an important seasoned voice who has a lot of that institutional knowledge to the table. And Penn, I think a lot of those people were actually in elementary school when Kevin was running around in City Hall covering. We also have Paul Cashman, who's been observing the city for about 35 years, coming in, and I think he also will lend an important seasoned voice. Full disclosure, I worked with both of them, so a little biased in liking what they're going to bring. But again, I think that the council largely doesn't have the ability to do a lot of what some of these folks promised, and there will be disappointment unless those individuals know how to get themselves in the press, how to make noise, because that's really the thing that they can do to cause problems.
Well, we're looking forward to them making some noise and causing problems, at least some that are around this table. That's all the time we have for Colorado Inside Postgame this week. Leave us a comment and tell us what you think. For everyone here at CPT12.org, I'm Dominic Dezzutti. Thanks very much for watching.